Why life service games don't work. Cheap, crappy life service games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League fail all the time. It's like a rainbow of failure. There are many reasons why these kind of games fail, and I'll mention them as we go along. But before I do, I want to talk about another issue. There's no bias against this game. When the day before shut down, someone said hate destroyed our game. I wouldn't put it past other companies to say things like that too. Do people hate this game? Yes, but mostly for legitimate reasons. To say it is all because of hearsay, and rumor points to an echo chamber on the other side. Heck, things like that are probably why if the founders of Rocksteady left the company. The people that took over probably said things like, those old devs are doing it wrong. Yeah, those legendary developers who made billions of dollars by selling their games were doing it wrong. Who knows who knows what they were promised, but they bought those lies hook, line, and sinker and made a bad game. I'm making a script from scratch, and it looks like I want to make this the first reason why live service games and games in general don't work. Number one, bad associations. Consulting companies like Sweet Baby Incorporated have killed many games and studios. For example, Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, was a game made by people who worked with Sweet Baby. The game looked kind of fun, but apparently didn't do so well because the studio that made it has shut down. Then there's Forspoken, a game made by Square Enix Company that worked with a Sweet Baby-like group called Black Girl Gamers. Forspoken has some great ideas and a black female protagonist, but the bad ideas in that game ruined it, and the company that made it. Sadly, this will not be the only time Square Enix is mentioned in this video. The game is mentioned in this video. I'll get to that when I get to that. Anyway, you have noticed a decline in the quality of many AAA games. Companies like these are the good reason why. They say they are all about diversity, but any game that doesn't have characters that look like the way they want will be criticized by them for being racist and sexist. One of their higher-ups actually said, if your boss won't let you make changes you want to things, then have coffee with your marketing team department and terrify them with what could happen if these changes don't happen, or something like that. That is not what a boss of a good company says. After seeing all the drama surrounding them and the games they helped make, it is clear that these people are snake oil salesmen. They say companies need their help with making their games diverse enough, but they really don't. This is called creating a need. Salespeople do this all the time. They get people to give them money. And why do I say companies don't need them? Because there have been games with plenty of diversity for years before companies like Sweet Baby got around. Another reason is that companies like Sweet Baby are trying to hide their involvement in games now. At least one YouTuber said it is harder for him to find out what games they are working on. That's kind of weird. If you're so proud of what you're doing, then why try to hide it? Thankfully, there's a place online where you could find out what games Sweet Baby was working on. What Baby worked on. Sweet Baby Detected. And what was the Sweet Baby's response? They tried to get that site shut down. Sweet Baby Detected has been hacked, called a harassment group, and now some idiot has posted personal information of the founder of Sweet Baby Detected online. You're doing good things, and why go through all this trouble to hide it? Most likely because they are not. They are doing bad things to games. Every game I've seen with their name in the credits is inferior to the ones that didn't have them. Spider-Man 2, God of War, Ragnarok, and now Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Sure, some of these games were okay, but you could tell that something was wrong. Characters who were strong were weakened, and characters who were not that strong were overpowered. And guess which characters are given the short end of the stick? Usually straight white men. These people say they are against racism, but then hate on white people. They say they are against sexism, but then they hate on men. These groups are not making things better. They just make them worse in the opposite direction. All companies should fire these snake oil salesmen, and if they sue for breach of contract, counter them for fraud. I'm sure they said they would help you get more cash and more players when they didn't. That didn't help anyone. They didn't help anyone. Sadly, companies like Super Baby Inc. are not the only reason why live service games don't work. There's also the curse of later. To explain this, let me tell you a story. There were 3 demons in hell, and they were talking about how to get more people to go to hell. You gotta get the right page. The first one told the others how many people he got and said, I addicted them to alcohol. The second one told the others how many he got and said, I addicted them to drugs. Then the third one said, I got more than both of you. Only how, they asked. I told them that they should ask Jesus to become their Lord and Savior and cleanse them from their sins. The others said, but that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. The other one, the demon smirks and said, I know, but I told them to do that later. The curse of later is rampant in live service games. Single player offline games have one start to get their people to like them. Get the people to like them. The developers have to put everything they can into that game before they sell it. Thankfully, nowadays you can release patches for your game if you find out there's a problem with it. But still, most of the game is out by launch. With live service games, the devs boast about having these 5 or 10-year plans, but what we get at launch is often disappointing. And because of that, these games often fail. Have some live service games succeeded? Yes. But that makes things even worse for new ones. You have to be really good to stand a chance against the successful ones, like Fortnite and Destiny. You have to have something unique to stand out from the crowd. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League could have had this. There are many DC characters you could have played as in this game. So many criminals that could have been in so many teams. They chose to give us 4 characters at launch. And they said that over time we'll get 4 more. So at the end of the game, we'll have 2 teams. Wow. We'll have 2 teams when we could have had 4 or more. Using the team we got as an example, we would have had a close-range fighter team, a gunner team, a mid-range team, and a tank team. So many DC characters could still be playable in these teams. But instead of working on teams and the story, they focus on another trap of the live service game, grinding. You've had out the time that live service games need to string you along. The devs had to invent ways to keep people playing. Excuse me. So you grind up levels to make your characters stronger. You grind up levels to get in-game currency. You grind up levels to get new weapons. And you grind up levels to fight up repetitive bosses. It's boring, and more exciting games and updates or other ones are coming out all the time. They're making billions. They're making billions, while Suicide Squad is losing cash. Let's look back at all the live service games that we lost to stuff like this, as a reminder of what will continue to happen if the devs keep making these mistakes. You were once a warm companion. You were all that mattered. You were once a friend and brother. Then my world was shattered. Wishing you were somehow here again. Wishing you were somehow here. Sometimes it seems if I just dreamed, somehow you would be here. Wishing I could hear your voice again, knowing that I never would. Dreaming of you tells me to do all that you dream I have. Crappy games and life service angles, cold and monumental. All I gave you was a warm companion. Gone, they've all gone mental. See, I have no problem with you guys chasing money. You're trying to get money and stuff. But it's the writing's on the wall. It's clear that the style of games you used to make is better than the style of games you make now. Offline single players are the best. Too many years fighting off tears. Why can't that crap just die? Wishing you were somehow here again, knowing we must say goodbye. I'll try to forgive, Lord, teach me to live. Give me the strength to buy Lots more memory, no more silent tears. Lots more gazing across their wasted years. Help, help me say goodbye. Help me say goodbye. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is next. And I hope the devs learn some important lessons after it dies. CBaby is evil and should be fired. Live service games are not what you guys need to be making, and you should make games in a style that your fans like. For example, the games your company made 10 years ago that have more people playing them now than this new game. And you should have your most popular characters be playable, like the Justice League. Combine the Arkham formula with the Justice League, and you will have a guaranteed hit on your hands. The opposite of what is going on now. Until then, check me out on YouTube and DeviantArt.